right, everyone. Well, here we are. We've made it to the end of the week, and this was kind of a funny week because my biggest green day was on Monday, and my second biggest green day was today. So starting and ending the week with nice, solid green days, but the middle of the week was a little bit slow. Now, typically, it's the exact opposite for me. I usually start slow on Mondays, and then if we have a good market on Monday and I have a good day on Monday, then I lean in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and I sort of cool off on Thursday and Friday. But it just turned out that on Monday we had some really solid momentum, which allowed me to get myself up $14,000 on the day. And then Tuesday was a little slower. I think I was up around 3,000. Wednesday, a little slower. I think it was around 1,500. Thursday, 3,000. And then here we are today. I'm up over $9,000, and I did it in 3 hours. So today I kind of decided to call it a day, a little on the earlier side. It's 10:22 right now, and I stopped trading. Last trade was just before 10 a.m. So I traded from 7 to 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then that for me was it. So a 3-hour window this morning, locking up $9,425.85. That is a really solid day. And if we take a look at my metrics here, what we're going to notice is that, let's see. So let's go to let's do month to date. So we got to track progress towards the 100K goal. So have a goal of hitting $100,000 gross profit this month. Was at 77,000 before today. So that's going to put me up to about 86,000. All right, getting close, $14,000 to go. Now, if we go to overview and we look at calendar, we can look at the actual days here of the week. So you can see 14,000 on Monday, 3,200 on Tuesday, 1,600 on Wednesday, and then 3,300 yesterday. And now today, haven't imported the trades yet. I actually can't import them until the next day. So I'll be able to import them tomorrow. And then for my weekly game plan on Sunday, we'll be able to see the entire month, including today's date. But anyways, I'm impressed. I mean, I really am. So now we've got another solid week. 22,000, that's where I was at coming into today. So now $30,000, 31,000 on the week, almost 32. Really solid, plus the strong week last week. So this definitely does have the potential to be, I don't think it's going to be the best month of the year. If we look back just at, let's see, month and day here. This was the month of February. Really, really solid month. 131,000. July, I'm making some progress, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get there, and it's fine if I don't. Nonetheless, I think it's still going to be a pretty solid month. And I might add, just for the sake of it, some of you guys were paying attention to this, but at the beginning of the month, I took out $290,000 from my account. So I had $377,000 in the account, and I kind of felt like, trading had been slow in June, and I was like, I just don't need that much money in my account. I mean, let's be real. If I take out 300 grand and I put that into even if like fixed income treasury, just a short duration, I can get 5%. And look, that's $15,000 that I, just from just letting it sit there and do nothing, but just earn a little interest. So I kind of thought maybe I should consider, putting the money somewhere where it could grow a little bit more. So what I ended up doing was a direct rollover. This is a Roth IRA. And so I did a direct rollover to my long-term Roth IRA. And that's what I typically do. Every few months, I do a direct rollover. So that long-term Roth IRA now has about 6.5 million in it. And all of that is day trading profit. So I just roll it over and then I reinvest it, but I don't day trade it and I just let it roll. I just let it grow. So anyways, so took out 290,000. And that left me with about 85,000 in the account. This shows end of day equity, which is a little confusing because it doesn't show, it doesn't show how much I started that day with. It just shows how much I ended it with. So it's actually 8,000 minus 94. So I dropped down to about $82,000. So my account now is doubled this month from 82,000 to 153, but now with today it'll be 163 almost, 162. So the account's doubled this month, which is that's really nice. I'm very pleased with that. Okay, so now the account's growing a little bit, and for what it's worth, I'm still not using all of that buying power. $155,000. I don't need that much buying power. My biggest position today was on NAAS. And the biggest position in dollar amount on this would have been around $120,000. So I guess it's not a tiny position, but that was the biggest position I took. So again, definitely don't need the 300 grand. Keeping 150 is okay. All right, so let's start with the beginning of the day. Going back to the first trade. Okay, so first trade of the day. Well, let's start a little higher level. So yesterday we had some good action, and I had a pretty decent day. And as the day went on, NAAS continued grinding higher, right? So I was done at about 10 a.m., but it continued to move higher, dropped down, came back up, and it closed pretty strong. In fact, going into after hours, it was holding up pretty well. So for that reason, I saw at the end of the day last night, I checked my phone. I don't know where it is now, but anyways, I checked my phone, and I just wanted to see which stocks held up the best that I had been watching. And I saw that we had pretty nice move overall on NAAS, and Silo was also holding up relatively well. So I thought, okay, these are stocks I should watch going into tomorrow for possible continuation, right? The move was strong on day one. We'll see if they move into day two. So that was kind of my thinking. But when I sat down at about 6:45, NAAS didn't have much volume. So it kind of was it was below volume weight average price. It was sort of pulling back. And I was like, well, there's nothing really to do there. Silo was also not really set up yet. It was just kind of, starting, but not quite there. So I noticed that SERV Robotics was our leading gapper. And this one had made a nice move after hours. So I ended up getting in this right at 7 a.m. So that was my first trade of the day. And my entry was right here. I got in right at this green candle at $4.55. For $4.54, I bought 2,500 shares. And at $4.57, I bought another 2,500 shares. So I had a 5,000 share position at like 455, roughly. It ends up popping up here, as you could see, to 470, 480, 490. Hits a high of 493, which is pretty nice. That's not bad. I really can't complain about that too much. So got a nice little trade on that. Is it a home run? No, it's not a home run, but it's not bad. Now the thing with this was, and the profit on that was $932. This one had a slightly higher float at 15 million shares right here, but I felt like at that time it was the most obvious stock. It was the one that was gapping. It just looked like it was the one. So nice job on that. So that was my first trade. And what I appreciated about that was it helped me get my cushion kind of early. So there were some days this week, if we look at detailed here, or no, let's see. Let's go back to the calendar. We'll just go to the recent here. So let's see. So so this day here, first trade was right there at this is like 7:47. Okay, no, that one's a little later. Okay, so that one, no, not that day. Let's see. What about this day? This day I went red at 7 before having a nice recovery. So sort of some trades right in there. Yesterday was 7:25. So some of these days back here where I got a really good start began like right at 6:57, 7 a.m., like right into that open. And so that was working really pretty well last week. Not all days. Like this day I went red and then recovered. But I had a number of pretty decent days that started with a trade like right at kind of 7 a.m., which is like when the market sort of officially opens for most retail traders. So getting that first cushion now gave me the comfort to increase share size and be more aggressive. So 932, it's not quite $1,000, but it's darn close. So then on the next trade, I jumped in Silo. And Silo, I bought 7,500 shares. So I increased my risk a little bit more on my first silo trade, and I got in that for the break of 4. Now, what was interesting here is that as this came up, and I'll show you on the 5-minute chart, and I'll explain that drop too. So as it came up right here, it comes up to 4, and I saw on the ask a 30,000 share seller. And I thought, well, it's pretty early. That's kind of a big seller. And I noticed we had yesterday's high, about 450. And so I kind of thought if we can get over 4, we've got, a good shot at getting up towards 450. But that seller's got to move. So what I did was I just watched the level 2. And when that seller started getting bought up, the way it looks is all of a sudden you start seeing green on the tape. And it goes 30, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 18, 15, 13, 11. And right there, I punched the order for 7,500 shares. So then I bought 7,500 of those shares. And now the thing here is you don't know if that's a hidden seller. And that's possible. Sometimes it'll go to 0 and it doesn't break because there's someone that has a hidden order and it's like an iceberg. So that's a risk, but I took that risk. And on this one, we got the break of 4 and it goes right up to 420. And so I made $900 on that, 15 cents on 7,500 shares. Now I'm up 1,800 on the day. I'm like, all right, I'm in the driver's seat. We're moving in the right direction. Okay, sweet. So nice trades on Silo. Then Silo pulls back here on the 1-minute chart back down to about 4. And right here, something that was really interesting was there was a big seller on the ask and then they moved down and they moved down and then they moved down. And then they were gone. They canceled all those orders and the seller was gone. So I was like, that's interesting. So I got in 10,000 shares at 405 or 407 right down here. And it bounces up here to 425. And I took my profit. I was like, well, hey, that's great. That's 15 cents on 10,000 shares. That's $1,500. I'm going to take that profit. So I took the profit. It dropped back down. I did get back in and I had to stop out because it dropped lower. And then at 8 a.m., top of the hour, boom, breaking news, secondary offering. So the company raised 2.1 million shares, registered direct offering priced at the market at $2.75 a share. Okay, so now it's back at about 260, 270, right? That's typical, and it's disappointing. So the reason that it's back at 260 is because they sold shares at 275, which kind of values the company in some ways at that price. And they sold enough shares that the market was very bearish on that news. And so the price dropped. We've seen some instances where warrants executed or an offering is for a small number of shares. And when it's for a small number of shares, it doesn't hurt as badly. But, they raised $2.1 million and so the price drops hard. All right. So now at that point, I'm like, well, Silo is definitely out of play, right? And Serve at that point, SERV, unfortunately, this one didn't hold and it was pulling back as well. So that was out of play. So now it's 7:42 it's 8 a.m. And I'm thinking, well, what do I do next? And AAS. This was on the watch list from yesterday, right? So what I had done on this one is I drew some different lines. This is what I pictured as possibly ascending resistance up here. And I wasn't sure if I should draw it like this or if I should kind of connect it a little bit better here. But I just sort of quickly snapped it here just for rough lines. And then down here, I connected this low right here with this sort of low right here. And again, I could have kind of drawn this a little differently, a little lower, a little higher. But I was trying to see where this sort of was maybe why this was bouncing here. And so I took my first trade getting in at $9. And I actually got in on this red candle right here. I got in at $9 and I stopped out at about, I don't know, it was a little under 9. And I lost $29 on the first trade. I was like, I don't know, guys. I think this looks good for the break of VWAP, but hell, if it doesn't want to go, I guess I'm going to stop out with a loss. So I took the loss. The next candle, it pops right back up and I got back in. I was like, well, I'm going to get back in. I still like the setup. Maybe my timing was early. I don't know. So I got back in here for the break of 9. And on this move, it rips to 925, 950. I add to the position, I add more, it goes all the way to 10. It hits a high here of 1020. Boom. Almost $5,000 on that trade. Now at the open, I did get another trade, but then I gave back the profit I made. This area ended up being really choppy. So basically my profit came from this break of VWAP setup. Now, if you didn't already see my break of VWAP setup, I actually just did an episode on this last week. So let's see. So this was, well, it was the sub VWAP trap right here. So check out that episode. I check that one out if you're interested in the sub VWAP trap, because that's very similar to what I traded today. It basically is the same setup. The only sub VWAP traps usually have a little more volume. But anyways, it's fine. It's very close, and I think it's definitely relevant. So check that out if you haven't already. All right. So, and then these are some other classes that I recently taught that are pretty solid. The only dip trading course, the bull flag. So those are worth checking out too. All right. So anyways, so we got a nice trade on that, but then it pulls back. It comes back up, pulls back. At the open, halts down. I did a dip on resumption, got a nice bounce, and then added for the break at 10 and stopped as it came back down. Loss, winner, cancel each other out. All right. Well, that's a bummer, but was worth a try, I think. So that was NAAS. Again, a continuation setup on the daily with lots of room to the 200. Wasn't sure how well it would work. Floats a little higher, but it was grinding all day yesterday. So I figured, well, looks like it, has strength. So let's see. All right. So then the next one was VRPX. So you can see I traded 4 stocks today, and accuracy is on point. Green on all 4. I did have some losers. I had that loser on NAS. I had for the first one, and then also the last one. And I had one actually trade on Serve that was a loss, but very small. So then VRPX was next. So VRPX, this one, it's coming up on the scanner, and I took my first trade on it at about 950. I mean, honestly, kind of out of nowhere, this thing just rips up like this. Huge move. So I'm watching the scan, and I bought this pullback right here. I didn't buy the first one, but I did buy in the second one, and I actually got in kind of in the middle of the range. So this was during the second pullback. I got in and rode this momentum up here, and I said, you know what, guys? I like the first pullback. I like the second pullback. I'm going to be cautious on the third, especially because of how much this move. It started to go parabolic. Then it came down quite a lot. Tried to come back up, and then double top rejection, back down, and now it's quite a bit lower. So unfortunately today, we did see a bit of this short-lived momentum where something would pop up and then kind of drop back down. And for that reason, I felt like the risk was a little higher. I also noticed some of the traders yesterday afternoon who pushed it a little harder ended up finishing the day in the red. And I ended up having a decent day yesterday. If you recall from my recap, I said I'm just going to focus on trying to hit base hits. I still have this goal of trying to break $100,000 of profit on the month, and I know that it's within reach if I can just pace myself and stay disciplined. And today I had that same attitude. I was like, all right, it's Friday, pace yourself, stay disciplined, keep just base hit, base hit, base hit. So 900 on the first base hit, 900 on the second, and then I had a little cushion, took a little risk, and AAS, I got in it, and next thing you know, I'm up 50 cents a share. So I kind of said, you know what, I could set my stop at break even and add to this position, and let's see what it wants to do. Next thing you know, I'm up 7,000 on the day. Then from there, got a couple more trades, and boom, $9,425.85. That's a super solid day, almost double the daily goal. I was at 9,800. That was my peak. And so I gave back a little off the top. Now, today is a day I have a lot of cushion. I could take some risk. In fact, if I really wanted to, I could, put $4,000 of risk on a trade in one trade. And with a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio, if it goes up, I should be up 8,000 versus 4,000 of risk. And then just like that, I'm at a $18,000 green day. However, is today the day I should do that? I don't think so. I'm not seeing a strong reason for it. I do have the corner of my eye see on my side chart NAAS just putting in a nice big green candle, which is nice to see. But again, a little hard to trust given the price action from today. It still has a lot of room on the daily, so it has potential. Let's see. I just, I just don't want to. I think it's just sort of weighing that challenge of not wanting to make a mistake. It's like I want to push it, but I also don't want to take unnecessary risk. So yeah, I'm not going to take that kind of risk. But in a hotter market, maybe I would, and that's how I'd get myself up a little higher on the day. But it is Friday, it's the end of the week, and the last couple days were a little slow. So what's our most obvious stock today, right? The leader, it's probably a reverse split. AUGX, that's a buyout. Serve, SERV. So this one is grinding higher here. It has broken through the pre-market level that I was trading. So this is also a break of VWAP setup. So you got the break there and then a squeeze up. One thing I noticed about Serve this morning was that it was felt a little thickly traded. So we'll just, look at it here. So 38 on the bid, 40 on the ask, there's 45. Now I wouldn't trade it up here because it's too extended. And it's kind of interesting looking because you get this pop and then pull back. One candle up and then 3 candles sideways. One candle up, more sideways. One candle up, sideways. One candle up, sideways. Why is it doing that? That's kind of grinding price action. It's like popping and then wait, and then pop and then wait. And the problem that you start to get into is the fact that on the 5-minute chart, you've got 4 big green candles in a row. So now we're extended on this 5-minute time frame, bordering on parabolic. So will we get a clean 5-minute setup? I don't know. The problem is you're going to be so extended off your 9 moving average that it'll take time. You might get an ABCD pattern, but as it goes higher here, you're getting really a higher likelihood that you just get a parabolic move, maybe towards 6, and then a bigger fade back down. And then traders don't feel confident buying it up because the move has been a little too big. Nonetheless, that's great to see. So yeah, as it turns out, if I had taken $4,000 of risk on something like this, which would have probably been like 20,000 shares, could have had a pretty nice trade as it is pulling away here. But I don't have a ton of FOMO on this because when I look at the 1-minute chart and I see how it's like a pop candle and then pull back, pop and then pull back, those tend to be charts that I end up not trading well because I missed the first candle and I buy and then I get stopped out and then it goes right back up and then I get back in but with smaller size and I just end up getting kind of irritated. But this is good to see. And one of the things on this one that we had going for us is that it's a somewhat recent IPO. So sold off and is now kind of coming back up off the lows. So, NVIDIA takes a stake. It's a big catalyst. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't stronger pre-market and it waited as long as it has to get this boost of momentum. But anyways, I guess better late than never. It's going to be tough because a lot of people end up missing it because it's kind of at a funny time of day. Maybe that's why it's up as much as it is right here, just because it caught some people off guard, short sellers and long bias traders. So anyways, so as we sit here right now, we're coming up towards 10:45, 11 a.m. I think whatever folks get on Serve, and you've got an 80,000 share seller there at 90, definitely want to lock that up. You don't want to overstay your welcome. It's Friday, and you're going to run out of time to recoup losses if you end up making a big mistake. So, as we say, every day you're doing 1 of 2 things. You're leaving money on the table or you're giving back profit. Once you call it a day, it's best to walk away, not look back, and live to trade another day and come back bright and early the next morning. So for us, that's going to be Monday morning. Clearly, we've got a wall of sellers here at 90. We've got almost 100,000 shares on the offer. People are selling against that level. It's you'll get that 5-minute chart and it's like, yeah, well, it's just pretty extended. So if you get a big drop here, buyers are probably not going to buy that up real quick because, well, they're going to see it's extended and it needs to pull back more. So anyways, maybe, who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be enough people out there with the So see that thinning pattern? That thinning pattern, if you saw that real quick, the way that kind of broke down, that is a scalp opportunity where you could have jumped in at 590 and taken a quick 15 cents of profit up to, 610. So the way it thinned out, and the fact that there's that much buying, I think it's got to be because of the Nvidia headline. That's going to be my best guess. That's why someone just bought 100,000 shares. I mean, not just one person, but that's why people are in so heavy at such a high price. I just, as always, feel like it can be hard to manage risk doing that type of scalp trade when it's up high, because if you get that jackknife where it, flushes 50 cents, you're in at the top. So it's hard to expect that you'll get a nice like bounce off that level. It's just your risk reward ratio gets kind of thrown off. But hey, you know what? Maybe this is one that's just going to go parabolic. And now that's over 6, if it can hold 6, well, next stop 650, then 7. If it holds those levels, we're looking at 50-cent dollar a share kind of moves. So look, I hope you guys got some profit out of it, more than I did. But whatever you did, study the charts. Try to do better on Monday, and remember, there's always going to be another one around the corner. So thanks, as always, you guys, for tuning in, and I'll put a link down in the description for a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. If you guys want to do it, you could do it. You could start now. You'll still have 14 days, so you'll have next week and the week after, so you'll be able to really give it a try, see what it's like to be in the community, and yeah, I hope you guys check it out. So I'll remind you, as always, that trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you back here bright and early on Monday morning. And I do have some uploads coming this weekend, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get the notification when those uploads get published. Okay, I'll see you guys on Monday.